This is the Global Economic Commodities Scrap Metal and Recycling Report by our Bentley Roll-Off Trailer and Gondola Trailer, October 19th, 2020. U.S. weekly crude steel production rose to 1.502 million tons, the highest in about 7 months, as slow U.S. economic growth continues. Crude oil price rose 28 cents to $40.88 a barrel on a very slow increase in demand and as huge U.S. and OPEC production cuts remain in place. The U.S. weekly oil rig count rose to 205, a multi-month high, but still down 87.3% from the 2014 high. Note, rigs mostly declined since late 2018, pre-COVID. U.S. weekly oil production fell to 10.5 million barrels per day, near a 2-year low as demand is increasing, but very slowly. Scrap steel number 1 HMS export buying price Philly fell to $220 a gross ton on a good supply and unsteady demand. Scrap steel number 1 HMS price was mostly steady at $244 and 33 cents per gross ton as supply and demand seemed pretty balanced. Hot rolled coil steel rose to $33.17 per hundredweight, the highest in about 18 months with short supply and long lead times. Copper price fell 2 cents to $3.06 a pound, near the multi-year high as slow global growth continues, including good Chinese demand, which represents 50% of global use. Aluminum price rose 2.1 cents to 83.9 cents, about a 14-month high, leaving out spikes on the same slow global growth continuing. China's GDP growth in the third quarter grew at 4.9%, well below trend. The global slowdown is hurting China's export growth. As a reference, U.S. GDP crashed 31.7% in the second quarter and is forecasted to rise a record 30% or more in Q3. September's U.S. industrial production fell 7.3% versus last year, the 13th straight month of decline year over year. Industrial growth peaked in mid-2018 over 2 years ago, with a blip up in January. The U.S. decline of our manufacturing base is continuing. U.S. weekly initial unemployment claims rose to 898,000, the highest in about 2 months, with 373,000 additional people not in this number due to they are individual contractors. So 1.27 million total claims. This is very, very serious. We need to get COVID under control and need more government stimulus. U.S. consumer sentiment increased to 81.2, the highest since April, which is very good news. But the gauge of current conditions declined as there were concerns over increased COVID deaths, job growth slowing, and no new federal stimulus. September's retail sales rose 5.4% versus last year, the highest since December 2019. This is great growth in terms of numbers. The $3.3 trillion of stimulus clearly helped. Note that growth was slowing pre-COVID. Wall Street's Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 19 points to 28,606 on strong retail sales, good consumer confidence, and on Pfizer saying they may apply for emergency use of a COVID vaccine in November. On the downside, industrial output contracted. This is a very, very important message now for owners of older Bentley trailers. This week we received a call at about 7:15 a.m. from the side of a major highway that had just been shut down due to the customer's trailer had just hit a bridge because the hoist was up. He needed to order our hoist up strobe light alarms that they had chosen not to buy in the past few years. We have a very low cost hoist up flashing strobe retrofit alarm. Please install them. They are non-audible but flash in the rearview mirror. They reduce injuries and damage to bridges and power lines. As always, feel free to call or email me with any questions, and we hope all have a safe and profitable week.